Hello party people, today we're going to be reading some classical mythology. We'll map here, we'll start chapter 1, the beginning of all things. Mythology is the science which treats of the early traditions or myths relating to the religion of the ancients and includes, besides a full account of the origin of their gods, their theory concerning the beginning of all things. Myths of creation. Among all the nations scattered over the face of the earth, the Hebrews alone were instructed by God, who gave them not only a full account of the creation of the world and of all living creatures, but also a code of laws to regulate their conduct. All the questions they fain would ask were fully answered, and no room remained for conjecture. It was not so, however, with the other nations. The Greeks and Romans, for instance, lacking their definite knowledge which we obtain from the scriptures, and still anxious to know everything, were forced to construct in part their own theory. As they looked down about them for some clue to serve as guide, they could not help but observe and admire the wonders of nature. The succession of day and night, summer and winter, rain and sunshine, the fact that the tallest trees sprang from tiny seeds, the greatest rivers from diminutive streams, and the most beautiful flowers and delicious fruits from small green buds, all seemed to tell them of a superior being who had fashioned them to serve a definite purpose. They soon came to the conclusion that a hand mighty enough to call all these wonders into life could also have created the beautiful earth whereon they dwelt. These thoughts gave rise to others. Suppositions became certainties, and soon the following myth or fable was evolved to be handed down from generation to generation. At first, when all things lay in a great confused mass, ere earth and sea and covering heavens were known, the face of nature over the world was one, and men have called it chaos, formless, rude, the mass of dead matter's weight, inert and crude, wherein mixed heap of ill-compounded mold, the jarring seeds of things confusedly rolled. Ovid, Eltunurcht, whoever's name that is. The earth did not exist. Land, sea, and air were mixed up together, so that the earth was not solid, the sea was not fluid, nor the air transparent. No sun yet beamed from yon cerulean height. No orbing moon repaired her horns of light. No earth self-posed on liquid and there hung, no sea its world in collapsing waters flung. Earth was half air, half sea, an embryo heap, nor earth was fixed, nor fluid was the deep. Dark was the void of air, no form was traced. Obstructing atoms struggled through the water, or through the waste, where cold and hot and moist and dry rebelled, heavy the light, and hard the soft repelled. Ovid again, Elton's Atiar. Chaos and Nyx. Over this shapeless mass resigned a careless deity called Chaos, whose personal appearance could not be described, as there was no light by which he could be seen. He shared his throne with his wife, the dark goddess of night, named Nyx or Nox, whose black robes and still blacker countenance did not tend to enliven the surrounding gloom. Erebus, Aether, and Hemera. Those two divinities wearied of their power in the course of time and called their son Erebus, darkness, to their assistance. His first act was to dethrone and supplant chaos, and then, thinking he would be happier with helpmeet, he married his own mother, Nyx. Of course, with our present views, this marriage was a heinous sin, but the ancients, who at first had no fixed laws, did not consider this union unsuitable, and recounted how Erebus and Nyx ruled over the chaotic world together until their two beautiful children, Aether, light, and Hemera, day, acting in concert, dethroned them and seized the supreme power. Creation of Gaia and Uranus. Space, illumined for the first time by their radiance, revealed itself in all its uncouthness. Aether and Hemera carefully examined the confusion, saw its innumerable possibilities, and decided to evolve from it a thing of beauty. But quite conscious of the magnitude of such an undertaking, and feeling that some assistance would be desirable, they summoned Eros, Amor or love, their own child, to their aid. By their combined efforts, Pontus, the sea, and Gi, Tellus, Terra, as the earth was first called, were created. In the beginning, the earth did not present the beautiful appearance that it does now. No trees waved their leafy branches onto the hillside, no flowers bloomed in the valleys, no grass grew on the plains, no birds flew through the air. All was silent, bare, and motionless. Eros, the first to perceive these deficiencies, seized his life-giving arrows and pierced the cold bosom of the earth. Immediately, the brown surface was covered with a luxuriant verdure. Birds of many colors flitted through the foliage of the newborn forest trees. Animals of all kinds gamboled over the grassy plains, and swift darting fishes swam in the limpid streams. All was now life, joy, and motion. Guy, roused from her apathy, admired all that had been done for her embellishment, and, resolving to crown and complete the work so well begun, created Uranus, also known as Heaven. Her firstborn, Earth, produced, of like immensity, the starry heaven, that he might shelter and compass her around on every side. Hesiod. This is a picture of Amor. The egg myth. This version of the creation of the world, although but one of the many current with the Greek and Romans, was the one most generally adopted. But another, also very popular, stated that the first divinities, Erebus and Nyx, produced a gigantic egg, from which Eros, the god of love, emerged to create the earth. In the dreary, chaotical closet of Erebus old was a privy deposit. By night, the primeval in secrecy laid, the mythical egg that in silence and shade was brooded and hatched till time came about, and love, the delightful in glory, flew out. Aristophanes. Mount Olympus and the river Oceanus. The earth thus created was supposed by the ancients to be a disk instead of a sphere, as science has proved. The Greeks fancied that their country occupied a central position, and that Mount Olympus, a very high mountain, the mythological abode of their gods, was placed in the exact center. Their earth was divided into 2 equal parts by Pontus, the sea, equivalent to our Mediterranean and Black Seas, and all around it flowed the great river Oceanus in a steady, equable current, undisturbed by storm, from which the sea and all the rivers were supposed to derive their waters. The Hyperboreans. The Greeks also imagined that the portion of the earth directly north of their country was inhabited by a fortunate race of men, the Hyperboreans, who dwelt in continual bliss and enjoyed a never-ending springtide. Their homes were said to be inaccessible by land or by sea. They were exempt from disease, old age, and death, and were so virtuous that the gods frequently visited them and even condescended to share their feasts and games. A people thus favored could not fail to be happy, and many were the songs in praise of their sunny land. I come from a land in the sun-bright deep, where golden gardens grow, where the winds of the north be calmed in sleep, their conch shells never blow. So near the track of the stars are we, that oft on night's pale beams, the distant sounds of their harmony come to our ears like dreams. The moon, too, brings her world so nigh, that when the night seer looks to that shadowless orb in a vernal sky, he can number its hills and brooks. To the sun god all our hearts and lyres by day by night belong, and the breath we draw from his living fires we gave him back in song. Alright, we will continue this later.